Hey, we're just rocking and rolling here. This is Joshua Taylor coming to you from here in Edmonton, Alberta. It's not a very good shot of this. My camcorder just won't go any closer. Uh, just give me a minute here. If that's done much. Okay, maybe we can go with that. You get the concept anyway. This is another macro community design. If you look at it, you notice that I've included the 7 acre perimeter around this micro community. Okay, and so you might ask yourself, why did you go ahead and do that? Well, if you're going to set up more of a permanent camp, then you have to take into consideration land, because you're going to have to be able to take this land and work it and put up your fence lines and then plant gardens, grow crops, root crops, vegetables, all that stuff. And so this is designed more for a permanent setting. So if you're actually going to do this at this point, you would have everything set up, not just for your dwellings to establish your buildings, but also for your infrastructure, because you need more than just tents set up. Tents set up for the long term is good, or for the short term is good, but if you're going to set up for long term, you have to establish your your uh, your long term facilities. It takes more than just a tent being off the ground or a building being off the ground. You got your power, you got your growing food, preserving your food, storing your food, and have got that worked out, but I haven't got. I'm just in the process of getting that up too. But anyway, when the time comes when you're actually doing this, where you can replicate the dwellings and the workshops, that's your basic work that you need to do, like setting up camp. You need to know all your essentials, right? And then you need to dig in for the long term. And you probably have both going on at the same time anyway. So on this is an H3 design. So you know that a micro center is 16 acres. So you go 1, 2, 3, and that would give you 9, 9, 18, and 8. No, 16 and 16. The 16 acre micro center. So 16, 16, 32, and 16 is 48. If you include your diamonds here, that's another 16 acres. And these would probably be fields or cattle or horses or whatever. So that gives you a total of 64 acres. And so the same formula that I've been using to make up the relocation platform models, actually using, for the micro center and the macro center designs. Same wording, same technology, same way of communication. That way it just makes it simple that anybody can understand. And something like this, each micro center will be able to handle upwards of 350 people. So based on 6 to 7 people per unit, per dwelling, you'd have between 756 to just over 1,008. And on something like this, you also got in between, you might have trees and shrubs and rocks and logs all the way around here. But you have your greeny areas here, and they could be your overflows. Because when these places are set up and the cities start to go down, when you have brownouts and power outs, and you got ISIS happening, and you got biometric warfare taking place. You got soldiers running all over the place. Agenda 21 being implemented and all that. To a lot of people in the cities, these places are going to become oases in the middle of the desert. And so it's going to be lots of people trying to find these places, just like the Lord showed Sarah Hoffman back in 1973. And she said that these people, they must have been knew what was going to happen, and they were well prepared in advance. So I know that going back to 1986 or 1975 when the Lord first called me, that He's been preparing me for all this. So it's been 40 years in the works for me. It's been 40 years now, 40 years since the Lord came and called me and began to train me up and all this stuff in community, making community designs. And sometimes I get very frustrated because I hate living in the city. I hate living by myself. And this is where my heart's desire is to live with people that are of the same mindset, people that are come to a place of spiritual maturity where they no longer want to take, but they want to give. So everyone has a part to play. Everyone can share their talents and abilities, and it'd be a happy place. These places would prosper, and that's what the Lord showed me. These places are really going to prosper, and people are going to become jealous. It's going to take people working together in the Spirit of the Lord to make this work. Okay, I have one more model after this, and but this one here is not. You can still have your shops and all that, but this is more or less designated for long term. And if you had all this stuff ready, pre-made in advance, ready to go, this would change a little bit because on a more permanent setting, there's more work to be done, more than just setting up your buildings. You'd have to, establish your areas, get your ground tilled. There's a lot of rocks to pick up, maybe trees to take out. And for your buildings, one of the first things you can do, you can actually send crews ahead to do your survey, primary survey, and to prepare the ground. So if you're going to have buildings that are going to be permanent, you can actually prepare the ground where you would dig out where the feet go, and you could lay up some, like a crushed base, so be able to handle the expansion of the land between hot and cold. In Edmonton here, when it freezes, that's where you get cracks in the roadways and humps and bumps and everything. Or there's another option too for long term. Is actually you can make pads where you could go to full basements, and like these, the relocation platform technology would work for either or. And but from what Sarah Hoffman saw, she saw that these places of light or cities of light, that there came a time where you would actually move in deeper into seclusion, and I kind of get in my spirit that you might have some of these dwellings made with basements and all that, but wouldn't be that many because we're looking at least 7 years between this coming fall when we come into the year of Jubilee. That this next 7 years or Shemitah is ushered in. God's going to begin to take the land back and begin to establish these cities of light, places of refuge in the United States, Canada. There'll be a lot up in Canada. There'll be at least 7 main areas up in the northern regions of Canada and around the world, and they're going to be needed. And not everyone's going to die. There'll be many that will give their faith as a martyr, but there are going to be a people that it's going to come to a place of full translation where they can't be killed. No weapon formed against them will prosper. And but the main area for these camps, for setting up these temporary camps, is to have a place where you could teach the young people, this first wave of believers that come in, because there's going to be thousands and thousands and thousands uh, and millions around the world. They're going to need places to stay, and you won't be able to accommodate in the city. You know, you could have training camps in the city, but then they would be funneled out here, and even those that are being trained be to be brought into full spiritual maturity, they would be expected to work and participate. It's not a free ride for everybody, and when you work with someone next to you, you find out soon enough whether you can get along with that person or not. So there's reasons for the Lord making these places, not just to save you, but primarily to raise up the young people, and so they could be fed the head and manna of the word. Okay, there's Joshua Taylor coming to you from here in Edmonton with the uh, Exodus 2 report. The Exodus 2 report will at some point become a newsletter, just haven't gone around to that. I'm pretty good at publishing. It's been a while. There's one more upgrade to this, and that's going to complete uh, these refuge camps using the 16-acre micro community concept. I do have other concepts that the Lord gave me over the years. They're some are smaller, some are bigger, different symmetric, geometric designs, depending on what you want to do. But these here are designed where you can set them up quick, and you could set up your work camps, your shops to replicate the work and get these out. That's the main thing, and establish a people base where like a support base where you have the manpower to compress a year in one day, and with this it's possible. All right, I'm going to close down and come to you with another video.